Hello, folks, and I hope you're all doing good. So, in the last video, we discussed about structs, and in this video, we will be discussing about methods, which are nothing but functions that we can define in the context of a struct. Now, if you're following the Rust book, this is something you will find in the third section of the fifth chapter. And I also have a similar blog on methods and associated functions in Rust in Hashnode, and I will link both of these in the description below in case you want to follow along. For now, let's go back to our VS Code and let's see how we can implement structs. So this is our old code that we wrote in the last video only. And we have one struct called player and it has some fields player name, position, xy, HP and is alive. And we have one populate player function that basically populates a player with the values. Now let's say we want some more functions and those functions must be specifically associated with the player. And these are something that we called associated functions or methods, which is basically why this video is for. And here what we can write is IMPL player. IMPL basically means implementation. And inside we can write one function called health check, let's say. The inputs or the parameters for the function will be self. Self basically means the variable itself. And this is how we write it. And the output will be string or the return type, you can say. And inside what we want to check is the HP. So let's say if self.hp equals to 100, in that case we want to return full health dot to string because we are returning one string, and otherwise the return type, the type is string, I mean the return will be, let's say, not full health, return value we can say. That's all, dot to string once again. And now we have one method that is valid only for the player. Now what we can do is, so we have some players over here, so player 1 and player 2. And here what we can do is basically try to print this thing out, like whatever we have done. So I will simply write println, and here I will invoke player 1 dot health check. We don't have to pass anything because the self is the only parameter. And the same thing for the player 2 also. So let me change this thing to player 2. And now let's see we are getting the result or not. So I will do one cargo run inside structs and it's building and we have full health and full health, so it means our code works. And we are passing HP as 100 and that same HP is being used in case of player 2 also. So that is the whole crux of the situation. So let's do one thing, let's give ash an HP of 10 and now it should give us not full health. So let me run once again, cargo run building, and we have full health and not full health. So our implementation for the player works, and this is how methods work in general, and we will be using it a lot from now on. Now one struct can also have multiple methods. So let me just create another method, and I will name this method as health compare. So it will compare health for multiple players. So it will first of all contain self because it is comparing with the self with the other player, and the second argument will be one player of the type player, and the return type will be one string, let's say. Now, what do we want to do over here? So I will first create one variable, and this will be one mutable variable, response of the type string, because that is what we are returning. And now we want to do the comparisons and populate our response. So you already know what we want to do over here. So we want to check for three cases. So if self.hp is greater than our player.hp, this is the first case. And then the second case is else if our self.hp equals to our player.hp. And the last case is basically when our player's HP is more, and that will be covered inside our else. And in the end, we want to return the rest. Now, inside, we have to pass some interesting values into our rest. So let's say here I want to write some string values. So I will use format, and inside let me write this guy has more HP compared to the other guy. And I want to pass self dot player name and player dot player name. And similarly, let me simply copy this thing and rest. I mean, it's already copied, so this thing. And instead of has more HP, we will write has equal HP compared to the other guy. And lastly, we will write less HP. So, I mean, very simple stuff. Most of it is copy paste only. Now, let's also invoke this method. So we have invoked the health check and we now have to invoke the health compare. And here we want to pass the player we want to check our health with, and basically the other player in this case. So what we want to do is do a println, and inside we will be getting one string value. So let me do player one dot health check, not health check, health compare. And inside let me pass player two. And we actually have to pass the address to our player two. And we have two players only, so I think that's fine for now. Now let me simply do one clear and do a cargo run. And let's see what we get. Building, and we have John Cena has more HP compared to Ash Ketchum. That's correct because Ash has very low health. So let me make the HP of Ash as 1000 and do a cargo run once again. And we have John Cena has less HP compared to Ash Ketchum. I mean, it will work actually. I mean, nothing to check here because it's very simple stuff after all. So that's all about methods and associated functions. We will use it a lot, but maybe this is not the best case. Maybe when we will be building more complex stuff, you can see how we can use it in many different ways. So that's all for this video. And if you have learned something new in this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It gives me a lot of motivation to create a lot more videos like this. So once again, see you next time.